In the golden era of American muscle, horsepower wasn't just a number, it was a declaration. It was a badge of honor, a roar in the face of convention. In that age, when engines didn't just hum but howled, when steel met asphalt and the world stood still to hear the symphony of American engineering, one name quietly emerged to stake its claim in a battle few expected it to win: Pontiac. While Ford and Chevrolet were dominating the racetracks and muscle car headlines, Pontiac, often considered the underdog within General Motors, was fighting for relevance. Despite the fact they were regarded as the division that could never quite compete with the likes of the legendary Chevy small block or Ford's monstrous FE engines, Pontiac engineers were about to change the game forever. They were preparing to unleash a monster. Not just any V8, but an engine so smooth, so balanced, and so power-packed that it would make even the most storied powerhouses in Detroit tremble. And that engine? It was the Pontiac 389 V8, the powerhouse that didn't just ignite the muscle car era, but defined it. To understand the 389 V8's impact, we have to go back. Way back. 1953. The post-war world was rapidly changing, and so was the automotive landscape. But Pontiac, unlike other divisions in Detroit, had a problem. Their old engines, namely the flathead inline 8, were outdated. The days of sluggish, underpowered designs were numbered. GM's engineering department had already started looking at overhead valve V8 engines, a move that would eventually change everything. But for Pontiac, the transition wasn't just about keeping up. It was about overtaking the competition, something nobody expected them to do. Pontiac's engineers faced a problem that many might find familiar. They didn't have the biggest budget, the best engineers, or even GM's full attention. But what they did have was a fierce desire to break free from the shadows of the bigger, more well-known divisions. A quiet determination that would, in time, produce an engine so revolutionary, it would forever change the course of American automotive history. At the heart of this revolution was an idea: build an engine that wasn't just powerful but usable in everyday life. They didn't just want horsepower numbers on a piece of paper. They wanted something with real-world acceleration, something that could plant its power down onto the pavement at any speed, in any condition, and make the driver feel like they were in control of a beast on the prowl. So they set to work. And what they came up with would leave the competition stunned. The engineers at Pontiac rejected conventional thinking. They wanted a V8, but they wanted it to be something different, a unique kind of V8. They developed a lightweight block design, paired with high-flow cylinder heads and an over-square bore-stroke ratio. This engine wasn't about big numbers on a spec sheet. It was about building something that could perform at both low and high RPMs with precision, something that would be at home both on the drag strip and the daily drive. In 1955, Pontiac introduced the first version of what would eventually evolve into the 389 V8. It wasn't the most powerful engine out there, but it was the beginning of something special. By 1956, Pontiac's engineers increased the compression ratio. In 1957, they added Rochester fuel injectors for even better fuel delivery, and by 1959, they unleashed the full potential of this engine, laying the groundwork for what would soon become one of the most iconic power plants in automotive history. But it wasn't just the mechanical improvements that made the Pontiac 389 special. It was also the approach that Pontiac took to performance. While other manufacturers were obsessed with raw horsepower numbers, Pontiac's goal was to create a V8 that delivered power where it counted: down low, at launch, and through every corner of the rev range. It was an engine built for real-world speed, not just for bragging rights. And it was that philosophy that would later become the heart of the muscle car movement. Then came the game changer. Pontiac faced a significant barrier that threatened their ambitions. GM had a rule in place: no engines over 330 cubic inches in mid-size cars. But where others saw a limitation, Pontiac's John DeLorean saw an opportunity. DeLorean famously said, "Fine, we won't call it an engine option. We'll call it a package." And with that clever maneuver, Pontiac bypassed GM's restrictions, installing the powerful 389 V8 into the Pontiac Tempest, and suddenly, the muscle car era was born. The 1964 Pontiac GTO, powered by the 389 V8, wasn't just a fast car, it was a statement. A street brawler that could take on the likes of the Chevrolet Corvette, the Ford Mustang, and even the mighty Dodge Hemi engines. Magazines were floored by the performance of the GTO, and teenagers across America began to worship this new breed of car. It was a symbol of rebellion, of youth, and of a growing desire to push the limits of what a car could be. Chevrolet executives, stunned by the GTO's success, didn't know how to respond. Pontiac had, in a single stroke, rewritten the rulebook. The GTO wasn't just a car. It was a revolution in motion. For the first time, it seemed like the underdog could win. Between 1964 and 1966, the Pontiac 389 V8 would go on to dominate American streets. Tri-power GTOs, with their trio of carburetors feeding the beast, could outrun Corvettes, overpower big-block Chevys, and put muscle to shame. This was no longer just a battle for raw horsepower. It was a fight for supremacy on the streets, the drag strips, and every stoplight in between. Pontiac had created a car that was more than just an engine and a chassis. It was a cultural movement, an identity. But the true genius of the Pontiac 389 V8 was in its design. It wasn't about being the biggest or the loudest. It was about being the most well-rounded, the most capable, and the most reliable. It was engineered to withstand the rigors of everyday use while still delivering world-class performance. Pontiac's 389 wasn't about flashy stats or fleeting fame. It was about building an engine that could take punishment and keep on going, never losing its edge. Pontiac's engineers had created an engine that was designed to win. And that's exactly what it did. The 389 wasn't just a cornerstone of the muscle car era. It was the heart of it. It wasn't just a machine. It was a promise that even the underdog could rise up and conquer. Sadly, by the late 1960s and early 1970s, the world of muscle cars was beginning to change. New emission standards, rising insurance premiums, and corporate pressure forced automakers to scale back their performance offerings. Pontiac, once a leader in the performance car market, was forced to retire the 389 V8 in favor of larger, more inefficient engines. The 400 V8 and the 455 V8 followed, but neither could match the magic of the 389. It wasn't just about horsepower, it was about a philosophy, an approach to engineering that focused on balance, durability, and precision. Today, the Pontiac 389 V8 stands as one of the most important and iconic engines in American automotive history. Its legacy goes far beyond just performance figures or drag race victories. The 389 V8 represents an era of innovation, a time when American engineers dared to push the boundaries of what was possible and prove that the underdog could win. Without the Pontiac 389, there would be no GTO. Without the GTO, there would be no muscle car wars. There would be no golden age of American performance. The Pontiac 389 was more than just an engine, it was a revolution on wheels. And its legacy will never be forgotten. Because in the heart of that engine, beating with every rev, was the spirit of rebellion, the soul of American muscle, and the unbreakable promise that the underdog could rise, fight, and win.